But first, a special treat. We went behind the scenes with Lee Kesselman during Music Fridays at noon, the free weekly performance series hosted by the COD Music Department. We visited during the mid-semester student recital, and then we chatted with Lee about upcoming college music events. Let's take a look. For people who have never come to one, I really want them to understand what this is all about. Can you explain to someone who's never been what they could expect?
Sure. We decided that it was really important for our music students to understand some of the things that happen in the music world besides the classroom itself. So we set up this program of every Friday at noon during the regular semesters. We would have something some program that deals with music. We hold it in a classroom. We try to keep it fairly informal. And we have events every Friday, and what we found is that the community and the college community and the students themselves have found this to be a place to be on Fridays at noon. And so sometimes we have students performing, sometimes we have faculty performing, sometimes we have special guests who come and they either talk about the careers in music or the music business, and sometimes we bring in something completely out of all of those categories. So guests and faculty and students, and among all those things, we give a broader picture of what the music world is about. So sometimes we'll show a film, and sometimes we'll have someone come and talk about music therapy as a career. Some of our most special programs are when our students perform. We love that.
And I've been to a couple where you've had alumni come back, and what's great, I thought, was then the students get to see, like, I could be that one day.
That's right. The alumni programs are also very special. Sometimes that's the time we really connect with our alumni and find out what they're doing. But for students at a community college, it can be really hard to see what the future looks like. It feels like, oh, that career is so far away. I'm a freshman in music theory class, and how does this actually happen? And when our alumni can come back and say, I was in your chair one day, I was singing in that choir, or I was playing in that band, and then I went to some other school and I got a degree, and now I have a career in music, that just opens the whole world. Not only for our students, but also for the faculty to reconnect, and for community members who see the continuum from first-year freshmen through transferring to another school to possibly having a career in music.
So, you know, I remember a couple weeks ago you had a quintet here, Metropolis Quintet, and it was an oboe and cello, I think, and violin and bass. And I think it's important for students, faculty, and parents and others to see. I think when people think you're going to be a music major, you're going to be a singer or a performer, the end, or a teacher. Right. There are so many opportunities. You can compose, you can be a studio musician, you can teach, you can be a private teacher, you can organize orchestras. I think that is another value to this program, is for people to realize how rich and deep.
I agree with you. I think one of the hardest things for students who are beginning their studies in music is to really get a picture for what this life might look like. And maybe they've played in the high school band or the high school orchestra or sang in the high school choir, but that's such a small subset of what can really happen. So when we bring guests, often they perform, or they might do a contemporary work or a new work, so we get some insights about the composer. When that happens, it opens a whole bunch of questions. And I find the days after we do that, my students are coming to me saying, so this Metropolis Oboe Quartet was here. How does that happen? Who are those people? Or you wrote this piece, because they did a piece of mine. You wrote this piece for oboe and 3 strings, and what does that score look like? Can we get a recording of that? And all of a sudden now we're talking about a whole bunch of other questions. We try, if we can, to incorporate those events that also attach to other musical events that are happening. If we bring a soprano soloist to sing with the DuPage Chorale, why would we not use her for a chamber music program and do a master class? And Carolyn Enger, who's the pianist who's coming in early April, is coming to do a master class and to do this recital. And again, it's a way to enrich what happens in the classroom. And in the field of music especially, I think in all the arts, what happens in the classroom is a really important component, but it's only one component of what goes on.
Did you think that I would cry? But I can't imagine why. You can't have thought this love you thought was real.
think for these young artists to be exposed to composers and artists, they're learning to find their voice. They're learning to create and make their mark. And that's really how, you don't get famous always singing somebody else's work. You
That's
gotta
right.
create your own work.
That's right. And even the sense of what everybody else is doing in the field. There are composers and there are performers and there are educators and there are music therapists, and all of that gives a picture that helps someone not only find their voice but figure out where they might fit in.
Right.
I find it really fascinating that we have so many people who come each week. We range somewhere between 30 and even as many as 150 people have come to these sessions. And we're a project that is really jointly sponsored by both the performance wing and the educational wing. And that teaches our students something else about how this world of the arts works, is that we do collaborate, we do talk to each other, and we find a way to make use of the resources that are around in a creative way. We started this whole series because we were on West Campus while the MAC was being renovated. And we realized that a lot of people forgot we had a music program, or we weren't as visible as we usually are. So we thought, well, we should do something. And we started with, I think, 3 sessions that first semester. And then people started coming. And so the next thing was, well, we'll have 7 or 8. And then it was, I guess we better do this every week so that people
It's
know there's
awesome.
something going on.
And it's become a wonderful new tradition for the MAC. So thank you.
Great, well, thank you.
And thanks for letting us come backstage and see one.
My pleasure.
I urge you to come visit us at one of these Music Friday events on Fridays at noon at the MAC and the Chart Center. For more information, visit atthemac.org, and on the homepage, look for the box that says Music Fridays. We hope to see you soon.